Hi guys, welcome back to Neoaquila channel. So today I will have an interview with a special guest. He is known as game creator, game development, and founder of SimCompanies. Who is he?
Hello.
He is Patrik Beck. Hi Patrik, I'm Neoaquila. First, why don't you introduce yourself to our viewers?
Well, I created the game SimCompanies, and I think that's what's important. Otherwise, I live in Prague, and this is basically my main job now.
Okay, good, fantastic. It is a pleasure to have an interview with you. I have some questions and another three questions from three random people.
Mhm.
Okay, let's start it. How did you get the idea to make this simulation game, SimCompanies? Although most people nowadays like to play action games or RPG or something like that.
Well, yeah, the themes are changing, and I think on the past few years, the survival games were very popular as well. But the strategy games are evergreen, I think, and I always liked to play it when I was younger. Different tycoons, SimCity or Railway Tycoon, and similar resource management games. And I played one game that was a web game in the 90s, which I liked, and I'm not going to say its name, but it was an inspiration for SimCompanies, and I wanted to play that again, but they did not do any update to it for 15 years or more, and I thought, okay, maybe I can write a similar game like that. I worked as a web developer, as a full stack developer, I think the term is, and I had all the skills to build a web game. So I thought, okay, why not? I'll try it. And that's how SimCompanies came to be. And I think we moved way beyond what the original game inspiration was since then. This is like way more complex now.
Okay, good. How did you start making this game?
I took the approach not really used in game industry to do like a minimal viable product approach, which means that you do the bare minimum and see whether players like it or your clients, users. And then you build on top of that. It's good if you're a single developer because you get some feedback right away and you keep being motivated. If you try to do something really huge and perfect at the beginning, it might take a few years and you may lose motivation on the way. So I did something very basic. We had just food and energy, maybe like 5 resources and 4 buildings. Very different graphic. It wasn't isometric. It was more like a table style. Maybe I can dig up some screenshot and send it to you so you can play it in the background while the interview is going. But it was very different. It was super basic. And that's how I started. I started with that and was trying to see whether it's only me who likes to play such a game or other people as well, and how to get players. And that was the start. That was maybe 5-6 years back.
Wow, it's been a long time. And question number 3, what is your main reason for quitting your job and dedicating your full time for SimCompanies?
Well, SimCompanies, as it grew, it required a lot of my attention, and I wasn't able to do 2 jobs at the same time. And since I'm lucky and players are supporting me, I was able to do that and concentrate on SimCompanies fully. So it was a natural progression, and I like doing SimCompanies more than what my day job was. And my day job was very good. I liked people there and the team and what the company was doing. It was a fundraiser actually, but it's difficult to do two things at the same time.
Okay, I see. So SimCompanies have required some, maybe more very time for you. Okay, some of SimCompanies players know that you are a one-man show. Have you ever thought of hiring some employees to help you improve in companies?
I'm trying to, yes. I try to outsource what I can. Like a lot of players are helping with translations. I tend to source all the graphics work because I cannot do that myself. And basically, what I can find people to do for me, I try to, but it's not easy. And many times you spend more time looking for a person for the job than doing it yourself right away. And full-time employees wasn't something I could afford, but that's changing. Hopefully, we'll have a developer joining me in September. So it'll be two of us.
How about the biggest problem you encountered since the game has been published?
I think that was when we put the game into the Play Store and we started getting a lot of signups. We had more than 200 people on the server at the same time, and we weren't keeping up. So maybe some of our veteran players would remember that, but we had like 2-3 hours a day during the peak time, during US hours when the game wasn't even playable. And I was trying to optimize the code, and people keep saying like, Patrik, you're cheap, you just buy more servers, and it wasn't like that. Like I was doing that before. If it was just the question of like throwing $50 more a month for another server, I would do that. That's easier than spending engineering time. But it wasn't the case because the code wasn't written in optimal way to handle so many players, and it took maybe a month or two to resolve the issue and to find what the problem was and optimize properly. And then I was really I was scared because every day people were like, Patrik, when are you going to fix it? And I'm working on it. I'm working on it. It's not that easy. And it took a while, but we got over that. And right now we can handle like 600, 700 players at the same time with no problems. So yeah.
Okay, there is the next question from Garuda Verindo. How about the best moment you encountered since the game has been published? Oh, my opposite question.
Right. Well, that must be when the game actually took off because, as I mentioned, I built the MVP, I put it up, and there weren't many signups. Obviously, Google did not send any players because it was a new page. And even though I did some search engine optimization, those things usually take months or years to actually reflect. And then I did some experiments with paying for advertising, but it turns out I had to pay on average $10 for a registration, which wasn't feasible. So I thought maybe the game wasn't such a good idea, and I moved on to do other projects. But then maybe 1 year later, Google actually picked it up somehow, and I started getting emails that new players are signing up. And for me, it was out of nowhere. It was a surprise, and I was like, "Wow, what's happening?" Then I had 10 players at the end of the week and 30 players at the end of the next one, and I was like, "Wow, this is huge!" And I started working on the game again, improving and looking like how they're going through the tutorial, where's the drop off. How long they're playing, how to improve retention. Then I started adding new buildings, resources, and then expanding the game. So that was for me the best moment when the project took off.
Okay, great. The next question from Philip Tan. Any plans of new industry after agriculture expansion? If so, what sector is the new industry going to be? It's like a spoiler.
Well, we'll see. I don't necessarily think that the more is better. If we add another sector, it has to be somehow different to what we have now. Like if you know the game, you would know that, for example, apples and oranges are pretty much the same thing. They're produced of the same resources, and there's no difference between them. And I learned my lesson. And for the new industry, if you look at auto industry, every car has a kind of different requirements in a different pipeline set up for those. like the electric cars are more leaning into the batteries, whereas the ICE needs combustion engines. And I'd like to keep the variability. And the new sector would need to be somehow different. I don't want to add like another Apple's, basically. So I don't know. We'll see. I'd like for every play style to be something. I want some industries to be good for beginners, some industries to be complex for late game players, and I don't want to be adding industries just for the sake of having a ton of resources. So we'll see. I think the food there's a space we need something to compete with electronics pipeline, because right now all our high-paying industries are based off the mining, and I would like to have basically complex pipelines on the other side competing based on the agriculture. There are a lot of ideas. People are saying that we should add ships, we should add pharmaceutical, and I don't know, like ships seems to be would be very similar to aerospace in terms of pipeline. I'm not sure whether that would be adding anything to the game. With the pharmaceutical, these are based on research, I think, in real life, where your biggest cost is the research, not the actual manufacturing. I'm not sure how we would reflect it in the game, but maybe later. I don't know. I have these options open. The food is happening for sure, and then we'll see.
Okay. It's like so complicated and yeah, complex. Okay, the next question is from Chuan Kop. What is the purpose of share? We can do anything about it right now. Any plan in the future involving company shares?
Sure. I had a plan for it originally, which then I decided it wasn't such a good idea, and I'll probably do something else. It's a difficult topic. Basically, I have some idea right now where to move it. I definitely want to build on top of what we have right now. I'm just not sure what it would be yet. But I'll try to, over the next maybe 2-3 weeks, formulate what I have in my mind and share with supporters and see what the feedback is, and try to start from that. My plan right now is to expand the shares usage before the food industry, so maybe over the next 1 or 2 months, but that might change. We'll see.
Good. We will see. What are your goals now?
My goals. I'm not sure. I'd like to keep the current. I'd like to keep the current player base. I'm not necessarily. I mean, if we grow higher, that would be great. But I'm already happy with this. I'd like to add more late game features so players can play for a longer time and enjoy the game longer. And with the new developer starting later this year, maybe we'll finally get to the end of my pipeline, have the building auctions, have the robotics, have the food industry, and then we'll see. Well, we'll talk to players and see what we want to add next.
Do you have some message for people who haven't tried this game?
Oh, who haven't? Well, they should try, definitely. A lot of people are saying that they are learning business skills and communication and negotiation skills, which I think are helpful for anything you do in your life.
Okay. Thank you so much, Patrik, for interview again.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And guys, feel free to say hi to us at SimCompanies. And for you who interested to play and try this game, I put the link on description. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.